Well, unless you've been living under a rock for the past almost a week straight, ever since last Thursday, the modding community was turned on its ears. Exactly what I'm saying. The whole Steam paid Skyrim mod debacle. The day the mods died. Some people remember the day the music died. I remember the day when I saw that mods had to be paid for, and I wept in my bed. I wept silently, like a young schoolgirl. Senpai, please notice me. But seriously, it was weird. It was like, oh man, I don't know what the hell it could be akin to. I mean, it reminds me of Fight Club, because really, Fight Club is very poignant in these sort of situations. If you recall what Tyler Durden said, he said something to the effect of, let's see, we're the middle children of history, man. We don't have no Great War, no Great Depression. Our Great War is a spiritual war. Our Great Depression is our lives. And I thought, fuck, man. Skyrim mods have to be paid for. Now, do not get me wrong in any sense of the word, because I have a YouTube channel it used to be popular. Now it's like non-existent. But there was a point where I was paid for my content, but it didn't come from the users, and it didn't have to. I've always preferred the idea of the tip jar sort of scenario. Now, this is my whole thing. The Nexus has long had a donations page, and you can support the website, which I was all for. Always for. I will gladly support the modders. You know, if they have like a donation page. If I have something and a mod has always worked for me and there was no issues and it was great, I will gladly give something to the modders. The problem is with the whole Steam and Bethesda thing was it was a money grab, I felt. It was clear cut, a way to make revenue for doing nothing.
Apparently,
And essentially
alchemists
that's
eat
every
ingredients to learn
business's
how to make
dream.
potions.
I'm telling you,
That
there were
doesn't sound very
CEOs with
pleasant to me.
boners that were 10 feet
I
tall
mean,
off
who
of
in their
this
right
idea.
mind would eat
And
a
if you
giant
don't
skull
believe
or
me,
troll fat?
I own the
As for
moon and
eating
I'd like to
thistles
sell
and
it to you.
antlers?
Please just
That
give me
sounds
your credit
painful.
card information for the correct transaction. But when I look at it, it was what it was. This was a 75% cut between Valve and Steam. I believe they even worked out something of 5% to the Nexus, if a modder so choose that the Nexus should get something, and 25% went to the modders. Now a lot of people say, hey asshole, 25% of something's better than nothing. Yes, true. But that would probably breed resentment after a little while. Let's say the modders made $500. They'd only get $100 out of it if they made that. Also, this was basically a clear-cut move to see if it would fly. If this flew, if this stood, if this worked, other companies would totally take on it, especially EA, especially Activision, maybe not so much Ubisoft because they got to stick up their ass. But seriously, if this pay model worked, it would lead developers to put out fucking buggy shit even worse than they do now. Because they know, like, let's say Fallout 4 came out and the mod pay thing worked. Bethesda could go, yeah, there's a couple bugs, but we'll let the modders figure it out. And then Bethesda would be paid for the modders fixing it. Like the unofficial fucking Fallout 4 patch. If that happened and it was a paid mod on the fucking Steam, then Bethesda would get, Bethesda and Valve would get 75% and the modder would get 25%. That's ridiculous. I saw that the Wet and Cold mod 2.0 made it to Steam. I looked and I thought to myself, God damn it. Then I saw it was $5 and I thought to myself, no, it's a cool mod, but not $5 cool. Like when Bethesda's like Skyrim expansions came out, what was it, Dragonborn was like what, $15? And then because it came out late on PlayStation it was $10. That's a whole lot of content for that. Whereas to Wet and Cold is just a little mod that, you know, makes NPCs react to their environment during the weather. Frankly, and with the price they had, they would have gotten $1 out of it. But they would have to reach a $100 payment threshold before they got a cent. If they put it up on the fucking Nexus and had a donation thing, I would gladly give them $1. You know, how would I just give it to, like, I don't want them to get $1 and I have to pay Bethesda and Valve for them to get, what is this? For them to get one? I don't even see how this is great. Like, I'm still upset with what I pay for my fucking monetization with YouTube and full screen entertainment and all that other crap. It's not exactly great, and they won't let me out of my contract. I believe there was a modder named Chico who was, or something like that. He had some issues, and when he wanted his mod taken off the Steam pay page, they told him no. You know, and they're also like, you may want to contact lawyers about this and that. It's like, whoa, really? This guy's little mod has caused him this much agita. On top of that, the modding community did go a little crazy on the modders who took part of this. I don't really condone it. You know, death threats and all of those stuff. A friend of mine by the name of Ziltix did a study a while ago, and he found that most people that threaten people on the internet about video games were from like Brazil or something. Those little kids. Like, frankly, if someone's sending death threats, it's probably little kids. Like Anita Sarkeesian complaining about people sending her nasty messages about rape and stuff, it's probably little kids. Like, I get those sort of messages, and you know what? It's probably from kids or douchebags, and frankly, I don't really take it to heart. And I feel like the modders probably shouldn't have taken it to heart either. But it's human nature. We tend to fixate on the horrible things. Like, we can't look and go, oh, hundreds of people love me. And then one guy goes, hey, go fuck yourself, faggot. You're gonna fixate on that one guy over there who told me to fuck myself because I'm a goddamn faggot. You know, that's the guy you're gonna fixate on. And it's just nature. This is also, from what I was told, has led to some issues with Sky UI possibly backing out of doing mods altogether, which would be surprising because Sky UI is pretty sick. It's useful. It's like a great mod. It's like one of the first things you put on Skyrim. Ah, man. I just don't know. Like, it was a bad idea. It was... Alright, the idea wasn't too bad. But it's implemented very wrong. Very wrong. It should have been pay what you can or pay what you want. Like the Humble Bundle thing. When they pop up stuff like, hey, if you give us, you know, just whatever you want, you get these. But if you give us this, you can get that. You don't have to, but you can. And it's like, alright. You know what? I'll give a little extra. You know, because fuck it, why not? But when it's like put in your faces, this is the price, take it, leave it, go suck a dick faggot, then I resent it and say no. Frankly, the damage has been done. You know, even though Valve has taken it off and this has only lasted, what, 72 to 144 hours maybe? This whole debacle's lasted, and already the effects and ramifications will be felt for a long time to come. I also think that this isn't the end of this sort of subject or issue. I really don't think so. I think they've probably backed off, but they'll come back to it because developers are always looking for more revenue streams. That's why we've got DRM. That's why we've got all this bullshit in place. That's why they complain about people like remember when they were trying to do DRM and Xbox and PlayStation, saying used games were fucking the developer? It's like anything they can do to get more money out of you. Microtransactions accept. It's probably going to be left alone for a little bit, but it'll come back. It will, and who knows if the community will survive it, because the whole idea of the modding community was freely shared. You know, it was people who really loved this, shared it, and the rest of us who loved their work gladly taught. Like, I've always left great comments for people. I've always been very positive. Even if I didn't like a mod or I found an issue, I would be, this is what I found, here's where the issue was, thank you for your endeavors. You know, I'm not bashing you at all. I think it's great. I just can't seem to get it to work, but I will check it out later when you do some updates. If you do updates, you know, there's, you know, it's just, it's a great community, and it's been ruined, I think. On top of that, with the paid model, like, mods are this weird thing where it's like, you could get a mod, a patch could come out, and the mod would break because the patch came out and destroyed your mod. Or, you know, you could get a mod and it didn't like how your other mods are in your mod order. Hell, sometimes a great mod would come out, and this happens a lot actually. Not sometimes, this happens a lot. A great mod comes out, someone works on it, and then they abandon it for like a year or two. You know, and you're just like, oh god, when are they gonna fix these issues, because this mod is so great, I gotta get it to work. And they're just like, oh, I'm not doing this anymore. And then someone else comes in, takes their old resources, takes over, and fixes some things that the other person gave up on. Like, this happens in the mod community. People share resources. Sometimes someone creates a mod, and then they go, well, life has gotten in the way, I can't do this anymore, now so and so's taking over for me, and then the mod gets new life and is revamped. How would this work on Steam? Especially if you pay for the mod, you want that mod to work immediately. No BS, no huss, no fuss, no muss, no nothing. If I was paying for mods on that level, I'd want them to work like fucking DLC. Like, the second I put it in, plug and play. I don't need to think. I don't need to look for special masters or ESMs. Like, it's too much of a gamble. On top of that, some of these mod resources, some of the stuff that's here, is taken from other games. Like, some of these hairs are from like other games, and it could lead to copyrights and all these issues. It's not feasible. And I'm glad that it's over, but I'm glad it came to end like this, because now it's kind of fucked the community just slightly, and everybody's pointing fingers at everyone, saying either A, they're defending companies, or B, you're a spoiled brat, you just want stuff for free, and I bet you steal games. Oh, God. The damage is done, and it has tarnished us all. We are all poor for it. Gabe Newell, I used to think you were the hero. Now you're the villain. You're the Joker. Where's the stop button?